You probably have Schedule 2 controlled substances or enough lethal neurotoxin to cause widespread fatalities growing in your own flower bed right now. The government bans certain innocent-looking plants not because they are weeds, but because they are chemical time bombs, capable of landing you a felony charge or destroying your neighbor's property. The forbidden fruit of the North. European Barberry. Imagine a winter hedge dripping with bright red berries, perfect for adding a tart zest to pies or preserving into crimson jams. This was once a common sight across European homesteads. But if you look for the European barberry in America today, you'll find it's one of the most forbidden plants in the modern garden. The problem isn't its fruit, it's its hidden history as a disease carrier. This hardy, dense shrub became a federal target because it acts as the primary alternate host for the destructive black stem rust, a fungus capable of eradicating vast fields of wheat and other vital grain crops. A single barberry outbreak can easily destroy 40% of a region's grain output. Starting nearly 100 years ago, the federal government initiated the widespread barberry eradication program to protect America's food supply. Millions of plants were physically removed and destroyed from backyards and farmland across the Midwest and Plains states. While many original ban laws have been repealed or softened, cultivating the specific non-rust-resistant varieties of European barberry is still strictly prohibited in over a dozen states. Though modern science has developed disease-resistant cultivars, the original potent strain remains a threat, serving as a reminder that some of the most beautiful winter features carry the highest agricultural risk. It's a classic example of an old-world staple being exiled for the sake of the New World's economy. But the fear of a silent wheat destroyer remains, leaving behind a black, highly toxic powder that ruins the entire harvest. The saffron imposter, Colchicum autumn crocus. Walk through a late autumn garden and you might spot a flash of purple pushing up through the damp soil, looking exactly like a cheerful springtime crocus. This is Colchicum, or autumn crocus. And while visually stunning, this winter bloomer holds a powerful secret that has relegated it to the list of restricted plants in many regions. The danger lies in its terrifying similarity to edible varieties, especially as its highly toxic bulbs, or corms, look almost identical to those of true saffron or wild onions. It blooms right where edible crocus or onions might be found, when the garden seems safe. The plant contains a potent alkaloid known as colchicine. Historically, this compound was used in tiny, carefully monitored doses as a powerful medicine, particularly to treat gout. However, even a small accidental dose from a home garden harvest can lead to a slow, agonizing shutdown of the kidneys and liver that begins hours after ingestion. Unlike many plant toxins, colchicine poisoning has a delayed onset, meaning the victim may not realize their mistake until it is far too late. Because of this extreme toxicity and the very high risk of misidentification, especially if the corms are left unmarked in a garden or accidentally mixed with true bulbs, many horticultural societies and regulators advise against its planting entirely. While technically sold as an ornamental bulb, the risk it poses to the unwitting winter forager makes it a forbidden knowledge most gardeners choose to avoid. It's a beautiful plant, but its lethal nature ensures it remains a haunting reminder that in the garden, looks can be highly harmful. The true absinthe wormwood, Artemisia absinthium, state bans. Few plants carry the same mysterious, almost illicit reputation as wormwood, the key botanical component behind the legendary green fairy of absinthe. This hardy, silvery herb is surprisingly resilient, easily surviving harsh American winters, but for nearly 100 years, the federal government completely banned its production and import, leaving a patchwork of restrictions that persist today. The concern centered around the naturally occurring compound thujone, which was historically believed to cause madness, hallucinations, and criminal activity. Although the federal ban was lifted in the early 2000s, allowing certain thujone-reduced absinthe to be imported, cultivating the high thujone strain of Artemisia absinthium is still banned or heavily regulated in many states, including some where winter gardens thrive. These restrictions are in place partly to discourage local, unregulated distillation and partly due to long-standing legal inertia from the original fears. For the dedicated herbalist, finding and cultivating the potent, historic variety of wormwood is a careful legal dance, restricting access to this fragrant and potent winter survivor. It's a relic of a bygone moral panic, yet this forbidden herb continues to cast its shadow over America's backyards, a ghost of the temperance movement. The ancient grains of winter, certain rye and wheat varieties. Picture a field in the depths of winter, not barren, but lush with hardy green shoots. The promise of ancient grains grown as essential cover crops. While modern farmers sow approved varieties, there are specific historic types of rye and wheat that are effectively banned from American gardens, blocked not by moral panic, but by the unseen hand of agricultural quarantine. These are the heirlooms, once valued for their flavor or incredible resilience, now deemed too dangerous to touch. The reason for the prohibition lies in the sophisticated threat of disease. Many of these older European and Asian grain varieties carry an elevated risk of hosting highly destructive fungal infections, most famously carnal bunt, a disease that renders commercial wheat unfit for consumption and can quickly crash global markets. To protect the multi-billion-dollar domestic grain industry, the United States Department of Agriculture maintains strict import controls on seeds and plant material. This means that if you want to cultivate a unique, ancient strain of winter wheat for flavor, the chances of legally importing the seed are near zero. The government's protection of the food supply necessitates the sacrifice of genetic diversity, leaving the romantic idea of growing truly ancient grains confined to the realm of certified institutions. It's a bitter truth. The purest, toughest grains are often kept locked away to save the rest of the crop. The potent tea leaf, Khat edulis. Imagine a tenacious evergreen shrub perfectly capable of weathering a mild American winter, whose young, freshly picked leaves provide an intense, stimulating boost. This is Khat, a plant central to the social life and tradition in parts of East Africa and the Arabian Peninsula, and one of the rare garden plants whose simple cultivation is an instant federal offense in the United States. Its legal status is not just restricted, but entirely controlled. The ban is due to the presence of cathinone, a potent amphetamine-like stimulant that occurs naturally in the fresh leaves. Because this chemical rapidly degrades after harvesting, the leaves must be chewed or brewed shortly after being picked to maximize the effect. The need for fresh material makes Khat cultivation a highly localized issue, and the United States Drug Enforcement Administration strictly classifies cathinone as a Schedule I controlled substance, moving the plant itself into a legal gray area where cultivation is treated as the manufacture of an illegal substance, treating a greenhouse the same as an illegal methamphetamine lab. Even the most casual attempt to grow this winter-hardy shrub in a backyard setting is seen by authorities as crossing a dangerous line. Federal agents have conducted high-profile raids on hydroponic grow operations in multiple states. It remains a fascinating botanical specimen, but its powerful chemistry ensures it stays firmly off limits, a forbidden winter crop shadowed by strict federal law. The deadly nightshade berry, belladonna, Atropa belladonna. The name belladonna translates directly to beautiful lady, a haunting title for a plant that yields glossy, nearly black berries against the starkness of a winter landscape. While some parts of the nightshade family are beloved garden staples, this specific species is so profoundly toxic that growing it is either banned outright or severely restricted in various jurisdictions, making it an extremely dangerous feature in a casual American backyard. The danger lies not only in the berries, but in the entire plant, which is loaded with potent tropane alkaloids, including atropine and scopolamine. These compounds are powerful enough to be used in modern medicine, but in unmeasured doses, they are highly harmful neurotoxins. Because the plant is quite hardy and the berries are aesthetically appealing, and often ripen in the winter months when other food sources are scarce, the risk of accidental poisoning, particularly among children or pets, is catastrophically high. For this reason, many local regulators prohibit its cultivation outside of certified academic or pharmaceutical settings. Belladonna stands as the ultimate cautionary tale of a forbidden winter crop. One small, tempting berry can turn a beautiful garden feature into a poison trap. The spreading thorn, multiflora rose, Rosa multiflora. At first glance, it seems like a perfect winter solution. A dense, thorny thicket of rose, offering unparalleled windbreaks, excellent erosion control, and a rugged, sprawling aesthetic. But the multiflora rose is not a romantic antique. It is an ecological threat, federally listed as a noxious weed and outright banned for cultivation in dozens of states. Its very hardiness, the trait that makes it appealing in the cold months, is the reason it has been exiled from the American garden. Introduced to the U.S. in the 1800s, it was heavily promoted by the Department of Agriculture for use as a living fence and highway divider. The plan quickly backfired. Unlike native species, the multiflora rose reproduces with terrifying speed, spreading through both seed and aggressive arching canes that root where they touch the soil. It chokes out native pastures, destroys timber value, and is virtually impossible to eradicate once established. Cultivating it today, even as a decorative accent, is often illegal, and in certain regions, landowners can be legally required to remove existing thickets. It stands as a powerful reminder that not all historical garden solutions are beneficial, and sometimes a fence built with good intentions becomes an unstoppable, prickly prison. The unregulated healer, Comfrey, Symphytum officinale, internal use. Known for centuries as knitbone in European gardens, Comfrey is a rugged, deeply rooted plant whose leaves and roots were a traditional winter remedy, revered for their powerful ability to heal wounds and mend fractures. Yet today, this once common backyard healer is essentially forbidden for its most historic use, not because the plant itself is illegal to grow, but because of strict governmental warnings regarding internal consumption. It is a tale of traditional wisdom meeting modern science with tragic consequences. Comfrey contains naturally occurring compounds called pyrrolizidine alkaloids, or PAs, which are potent but also harmful to the human liver when consumed orally. While generations used it in small amounts as a tea or tonic, extensive modern research confirmed that even low, cumulative doses can cause severe, irreversible liver damage over time. Because of this risk, the Food and Drug Administration issued strong advisories and regulations that effectively make it illegal to sell or market Comfrey for internal consumption in the United States. While gardeners are still free to grow the plant for topical salves or for compost, the heart of its traditional healing power has been legally exiled. It is a plant of bittersweet paradox, a genuine healer whose internal use is too dangerous for the modern world, forcing us to abandon a powerful old winter remedy. The tropical escapee, Japanese knotweed, Fallopoeia japonica. It looks deceptively innocent, a tall, dense screen of vegetation that offers superb coverage even into the colder months, making it seem like a robust, low-maintenance privacy solution. But Japanese knotweed is arguably the most destructive plant on this list, an invasive nightmare whose cultivation is banned outright in multiple states, and whose very presence can trigger expensive legal action and property devaluation. This plant was initially imported in the late 1800s as a curiosity and as a potential ornamental, praised for its rapid growth. The problem is its terrifying root system, which can grow 10 feet deep and up to 65 feet horizontally. Its roots are an underground network of woody, bamboo-like spears, capable of finding and exploiting any weak point in concrete. The roots are so powerful that they have been documented pushing through concrete foundations, cracking pavements, and overwhelming infrastructure. It has been declared a noxious weed in states like Oregon and Washington, where allowing it to grow is not just discouraged, but often illegal, forcing homeowners to hire specialized removal teams to chemically treat the land. The total process of removing it can cost up to $15,000 and take 3 full years of chemical treatment. This perennial menace survives hard freezes and recovers quickly, meaning once it is in your yard, it is an ecological and financial liability. It is the gardening equivalent of a poltergeist, a handsome plant with the power to tear your property apart, and one that absolutely should not be welcomed. The opium poppy, Papaver somniferum, the seed trap. Imagine harvesting beautiful dried seed pods in the late winter, their silvery husks ready to yield the tiny nutty seeds essential for baking and decoration. This is the opium poppy, and while the seeds themselves are perfectly legal to buy and use in the kitchen, the simple act of growing the plant carries an immediate, profound legal risk that few gardeners are willing to take. It is a plant of chilling duality, loved by bakers and feared by law enforcement. The paradox exists because the very plant that produces the edible seeds is also the source of illicit opium, morphine, and heroin. Under the Federal Controlled Substances Act, the opium poppy is listed as a Schedule II controlled substance, making unauthorized cultivation a felony. The law does contain vague language regarding plants grown for decorative purposes, but interpretation often comes down to the intent of the grower and the quantity of plants. Law enforcement agents often look for specific clues, unusual quantities, evidence of scoring the seed pods, or the use of sophisticated growing lights. If you grow too many, or if local authorities suspect you are growing them for anything other than decoration, you can face serious charges. For this reason, many seed suppliers will not ship Papaver somniferum to certain states, and most gardeners agree that the risk of a visit from federal agents is simply not worth the beautiful winter blooms or the poppy seed muffin. It remains a gorgeous plant, but its legal jeopardy ensures that most backyards give this classic flower a wide, cautious birth. The bitter root, black cohosh, Achatea racemosa, wild harvest limits. Beneath the frozen surface of the winter forest floor lies the thick, rugged root of black cohosh, a plant whose potent medicinal properties have made it a cornerstone of traditional healing for centuries. This perennial is extremely hardy, but its popularity and effectiveness have become its greatest liability, leading to legal restrictions on harvesting that have exiled it from the realm of the casual winter forager. As modern demand for herbal supplements grew exponentially, wild collectors began aggressively stripping the forests, prioritizing quantity over conservation. This rapid, uncontrolled harvesting pushed the species to the brink, leading conservationists to label the plant as significantly threatened. In response, several states and international bodies have placed black cohosh under monitoring, and in some areas, laws prohibit the wild collection of the root entirely. While you can still grow it in a dedicated garden patch, the historic tradition of stepping into the woods during the cold months to dig up the valuable bitter root is now heavily regulated and often illegal without specific permits. The ban highlights a painful truth. A popular natural remedy can be loved to extinction, forcing the government to step in and prohibit the very act of gathering nature's bounty. It is a vital lesson in sustainability, showing how a freely available winter staple became a legally protected rarity. The stunted survivor, dwarf miscanthus grass, certain cultivars. Imagine a field of beautiful feathery ornamental grass providing essential texture and color against the monochrome backdrop of a cold winter. You might assume such a plant is harmless, but certain dwarf cultivars of miscanthus are silently banned from sale and cultivation in many regions, proving that even a gorgeous, low-maintenance ornamental can pose a severe ecological threat. The danger lies in their deceptive ability to cross-pollinate. Miscanthus is prized for its hardiness, but when highly aggressive dwarf varieties are planted near towering commercial or biofuel grasses, they can breed to create extremely invasive hybrids. These new vigorous strains can spread uncontrollably, overwhelming native habitats and rendering thousands of acres of land unusable. Because of this risk, state and regional nursery associations often place these specific dwarf cultivars on a strict "do not sell" list, making them illegal to propagate or distribute. A casual gardener may not be able to tell the difference, but the simple label change on a pot marks the difference between a beautiful garden accent and a plant that could silently unleash a new, invasive species into the local ecosystem. It's a botanical cautionary tale, demonstrating how the hidden genetics of a seemingly perfect winter grass can lead to a silent, region-wide ban. The lost livestock staple, certain sorghum, Sudan grass hybrids. Picture an incredibly fast-growing field of grass, designed to provide high-protein winter forage for livestock, even as temperatures drop. These specific sorghum and Sudan grass hybrids are highly efficient, yet they carry a lethal flaw that makes their cultivation too risky for the casual gardener and heavily regulated for farmers. The danger is not a pest or a fungus, but a terrifying chemical reaction triggered by the cold itself. When these particular hybrids are subjected to heavy frost or sudden, severe temperature drops, the plant's cells break down, releasing compounds that quickly convert into prussic acid or hydrogen cyanide, Grazing animals can perish in mere minutes after consuming the frost-damaged leaves, making it a horrifying, instant tragedy for the farmer. Even a small amount of this frozen, damaged forage is instantly fatal to grazing livestock. Because the risk of this chemical reaction is so high and so unpredictable during cold months, these varieties are flagged with strict legal warnings, and liability concerns effectively ban them from backyard use. A farmer growing them must take extreme caution and test the feed constantly, making it a professional, high-risk endeavor that the average person should never attempt. It is a stunning example of bioengineering gone sideways, where a highly efficient crop is also a fatal hidden threat that the winter garden cannot tolerate. The unlicensed cure, bloodroot Sanguinaria canadensis, topical restrictions. This beautiful early spring wildflower hides a dark secret within its rugged winter root. Once a revered folk medicine known for its potency in treating various skin ailments. Black cohosh was a traditional staple, but its fierce caustic properties have led to modern regulatory crackdowns, effectively forbidding its commercial use for the very reason it was once celebrated. The root of bloodroot contains the powerful alkaloid sanguinarine, which acts as an escharotic, a substance that burns and destroys tissue. Historically, this extract was dangerously used to remove skin growths. However, because it often leaves deep, permanent scarring and can be severely harmful if improperly applied, the Food and Substance Administration has issued warnings and enforcement actions against unapproved topical products containing sanguinarine. While the plant itself is native and generally legal to grow as an ornamental, utilizing the winter-harvested root for its traditional caustic purpose has been effectively outlawed by medical regulators. The government ban highlights the dangerous line between traditional, potent folk remedies and modern medical safety standards. It's a tragic irony that the plant's strongest healing power is now the reason for its forbidden status in the world of over-the-counter cures. The secret stimulant, guarana, Paullinia cupana, import restrictions. Beneath the canopy of its native environment, the guarana vine is a prolific, vigorous plant whose seeds deliver one of the highest caffeine concentrations found in nature, a prized secret ingredient in global energy supplements. While the dried, processed seeds are easily imported for manufacturing, the fresh, live plant is almost entirely absent from American gardens, banned not for its chemistry, but for the invisible threats it harbors. The challenge of growing guarana in America, even in the warmest winter climates like Florida or California, is one of strict quarantine. The United States Department of Agriculture maintains stringent laws against importing any live, propagating material, cuttings, roots, or seedlings from its native South American range. These bans are crucial for preventing the introduction of specialized pests, diseases, and pathogens that could devastate other related plant crops in the U.S. For the dedicated grower, this means getting a fresh guarana plant is virtually impossible without undergoing specialized, government-controlled research permits. The plant itself is a marvel of natural stimulation, but the agricultural protection laws surrounding it ensure that the high-powered guarana vine remains a forbidden, living mystery in the American backyard. It's a compelling reminder that the true danger in the garden is sometimes microscopic, leading to sweeping bans on even the most coveted tropical powerhouses. The truth is, your garden is rarely just your own. It's subject to silent laws you never knew existed. What do you think about these fruits? Comment down below, and if you were shocked by the illegal secrets hiding in your backyard, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video to ensure you don't miss our next dive into forbidden knowledge. Thanks for watching, and remember to check your flower beds carefully.